Welcome to this week's Genealogy Short Take, Researching Female Ancestors, using Erie County marriage records. The Erie County marriage records are available on microfilm in the Grosvenor Room. The library has digital microfilm readers which allow you to scan images and save them to a flash drive. The machines also print, which you can do for 10 cents a page. The Erie County marriage records are part of the Western New York Genealogical Society's collection. They're accessible to anyone who visits the Grosvenor Room. The date range covered is 1877 through 1935. If you don't know the date of marriage that you're searching for, there are a few ways that you could find or narrow down the date. The first is to search the New York State Vital Records Index. A marriage should be listed in this index if it took place in an Erie County town outside of the city of Buffalo and was between the years 1881 and 1967, or if it took place in the city of Buffalo between 1908 and 1967. The New York State Vital Records Index is available in Ancestry Library Edition, a database available at every Buffalo and Erie County Public Library location. Ancestry cannot be used from home, but if you bring your laptop or other computing device into one of our libraries and use the library's wireless, you can use it on your own device. To access the database, go to the library's homepage, www.buffalolib.org, and select Research and Resources. Then select Databases A to Z, and then Genealogy, and finally, Ancestry Library. To find the Vital Records Index, go to the Search menu and select Card Catalog. Then in the title field, input New York Marriage. The database to select from the results is New York State Marriage Index, 1881 to 1967. Good details to start with is the bride or groom's name and the county that they were married in. If you know an approximate year, you can input a year and then search for a particular range. In this search, it is 1930 plus or minus 2 years. If you know the spouse's name, input that as well. From your results list, click View Record next to the correct result. The details you are looking for are the marriage date and marriage place. The certificate number listed here is the state number. You should write this down, but the state number is different than the county certificate number, so it is not helpful when looking through the Erie County marriage records on microfilm. It's always good to look at the index itself to verify that the transcribed information that we were just looking for was correct. And in this case, it was correct. If you don't find the marriage you're looking for in the Vital Records Index, some censuses provide details about marriages. For the time frame we're looking at, 1877 through 1935, these 3 census years list important marriage information. 1900 and 1910 list the number of years of the present marriage, and 1930 lists the age at first marriage. Here's an example from the 1900 census, which asks the number of years married. Gregory and Cunigunda Stable have been married for 24 years, making their year of marriage about 1876. So, since the marriage records start in 1877, it's possible that it would be in the Erie County records here at the library. If those two strategies aren't applicable to your search, to estimate the marriage year, find what year their first child was born. They were likely married within a few years of when their first child was born. The Genealogical Society has its own area in the Grosvenor Room's microfilm collection. There are about 20 reels of marriage indexes, followed by numerous reels of the marriage certificates. The indexes are mainly arranged by year and alphabetic range. Ask staff for assistance. Always look at the very beginning of the film to see if there's a name key. These will tell you what page number to look on for the surname that you're searching for. Let's say the surname is Babcock. You would first look for the B section on the key. Then go downward for the second letter of the name, which is A. Lastly, move across to the right for the third letter of the name, which would be B. Where those intersect is the page number you should look on. In this case, it's page 22. Always, always look for this key. It will save you a lot of time. Some films may be arranged differently. They are always in groupings, though. Don't start looking page by page. They're not in exact date order. Staff are always available to help you determine how they're grouped together. We also have a guide to assist you. If you don't find them in the index, contact the town or city clerk where the marriage took place. And it's possible that they have the record even though it's not in the index. There will often be a fee for them to search for you. Now let's look at what you can find in the records. Sometimes there are 2 or more pages for marriage records, so be sure to look thoroughly to make sure you're not missing something. This is the marriage record that we searched for in the New York State Vital Records Index earlier. It's the marriage license of William Jones Jr. of Depew and Rose Elizabeth Johnson of Depew. The license was filed in Lancaster. They were married on July 6, 1931 by G.E. Bradley. Knowing the officiant's name can help you find a church record if he was a minister. You could look G.E. Bradley up in a directory to see if he is associated with a church. Marriage records usually include the bride and groom's addresses, ages, and this particular record lists their exact birth dates. You'll also usually see occupations. William was a garage man and Rose did housework. Their parents are named, including their mother's maiden name. Only a country of birth is listed for their parents, but you will often find a state or even a town or city name. Also listed is how many times that they've been married. This is the first marriage of both parties. Here's an example of an earlier marriage from 1881. Similar information is given to the last example. The groom, Charles Frederick Barker, 29 years old, was a carpenter born in England. His parents were William George Barker and Martha Barker. He married Joanna Schlenker of Buffalo, who was 20 years old, and her parents were Jacob Schlenker and Elizabeth King. Here's a marriage from 1910, and some unique information is recorded. For the number of marriage for the bride, it says 2. She has not seen nor heard from her husband for 9 last succeeding years, does not know whether alive or dead. If one of the parties was underage when married, you may see a certificate of consent. In this example, Constance Rosewitz, the bride, was under 18, and her mother gives consent for the marriage. Some marriages will be in a ledger format. This is a small part of a larger page. Carl Benson marries Viola Gearman on May 29, 1924. It's Carl's first marriage, but Viola's second. Her previous marriage was annulled on May 24, 1924 in Buffalo, just 5 days before this marriage. The Grosvenor Room offers free lookups in the Erie County marriage records if you can estimate the year of marriage for us. Simply go to the Grosvenor Room's webpage, www.buffalolib.org/research-resources/special collections. I hope we gave you some good tips on searching Erie County marriage records. If you have any questions, please contact us using the email or phone number that are listed here. Thank you so much for joining us.